This should be an easy lane for Bristle, right? You're playing into Pango Tusk as Bristleback. That has to be a really good lane in the safe lane for Avulus.
It actually does another point, right? Because if the lane goes well enough, there will be a portion of time where they can probably leave the Bristle alone for a minute or two, and Fly can make the top twin gate rotation, perhaps assist Shibe and them in getting kills, forcing the early tower before the Lina is really ready to fight. I think I would like that. If they just take the risk of saying, Smiling Knight, you'll be okay for a little bit, gang. Just don't die. We're going to open up space on the map for you.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more inspiring if the 5 was a hero that, other than Warlock, so that going through the gate poses bigger threat. But sometimes bringing just that extra 200 damage with a nuke and a blood grenade can get you the key kill and open up that tower. So let's see what they've got ready for us here on the side of Avulus. I mean, I'm excited to see this. The thing about whenever I watch a game and I heavily favor a team's draft, I love every outcome. It's like if the team that I feel like has the better draft just crushes it, I feel, you know, yep, we had the right read, that was correct. And if they get stomped, we either learn something or it's like a massive praise of the other team for playing an excellent game, right? So I really like casting games where I clearly favor a team on draft versus necessarily always having games where we're like, yeah, both teams have good stuff, it could go either way kind of thing. It's spicier, you know? I like this once in a while.
I mean, it's these kind of games that generate interesting things happening. Oh, Snowball, just to cancel out Fly's TP. That's still a twin gate, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yesterday we actually had a scenario where Heroic were kind of outdrafted, but they made the decision to change up the lanes in a very interesting fashion. And that almost won them the game. Like, things are going way better than expected. They chain killed the Drow Ranger, things went well middle. So I'm with you that, like, these harder outdrafts do create opportunities for teams to find creative solutions to those problems. Now we're in the game. So far, so good. Analog playing 2v1 middle. Schofield. How did Schofield get here? What happened?
I mean, he snowballed the Warlock TP to cancel it top, and then he just walked across the entire map instead of TPing bottom to Whisper. And I kind of like this play because Whisper will easily get level 2 down here against Warlock Bristle. They're not going to be able to zone him off the lane. And you conserve your TP this way on the Tusk. You could pull a quick move, you come to lane with full mana. It's a lot of upsides when your offlaner is able to handle the first wave just fine by themselves.
Oh. Let's take a look at top quickly as Shibe, the intriguing hero here, the Undying from the offlane. As you mentioned that they have the potential to try and like dive onto Yuma, try and make some really aggressive moves here. What level do they have the most kill threat? Are we waiting for level 2 or level 3 here?
I think realistically the easier kill is probably with level 2 Brambles. I think you need a little longer route in this lane for the zombies to have time to form and get on top of the Lina. I honestly don't really foresee a kill here from Avulus, to be honest, unless they TP in or rotate the Warlock or the Slardar. But if they were to pull it off, level 3 is probably where it's at. And we should mention, they did opt to put King Jungles on the Shaman up top rather than the Tusk. I thought these lanes were going to be inverted with Shaman Pango bottom and the Tusk Lina top, since that's such a good pairing. But Heroic see additional value in running the double ranged hero against Undying, which is a different way of solving the hero, of course, is to just not have a single hero that trades with him in melee range. I'm fine with both solutions. The Tusk Lina lane, in my eyes, has more kill power, but this one is also very stable. So, it's all good.
On bottom, like you mentioned, because it is double melee down here, Smiling Knight has been just farming away. Top of the CS charts at the moment. And Schofield, just getting reminded who's the big boss in this lane. Not getting this Lotus buddy.
Well, he's going to try to waste as much of Smiling Knight's time as possible here to maybe cost him a CS or two. This is being annoying. Mission accomplished, actually. He took like, what was that, 150 damage and probably cost Smiling Knight 2 CS. Not too bad.
Well, the wave was pushing in as well, so Whisper happy with these developments. Does have this range creep denied in front of him. What can you do?
Oh, Smiling
Whisper
Knight.
is actually getting ran down by Smiling Knight. He's seen that the swashbuckle has been utilized. The snowball will be necessary from Schofield to save him. And Whisper more. He might actually tick out still. Oh, he's fine. 30 HP, but he lives.
7 HP after the last tick of Shadow Word. Yikes. Yeah, that immediately gets a Vamos Peru flag, of course. From Whisper. Nice sticker.
The best sticker in the game. He's actually going to get the shards out onto Smiling Knight, but the creep wave is still there, tanking the tower hits. So Smiling Knight is just like, okay, bro, you happy?
In the mid lane,
How are
this
things looking?
Puck versus Slardar seems to be going relatively evenly. Slardar with a slight advantage, mainly courtesy of denies in this matchup. It's not a matchup that Puck can bully you in, truly. Puck generally doesn't do that to too many heroes. And yeah, with your additional regen in the river, you're just fine on Slardar.
Still chilling. He's having such a good time. He's got his bottle in the backpack. Has no real concerns here. Just gonna get some boots, some raindrops, and then life should be good for him. Mobe just putting out some pressure, making sure that these denies don't happen. But Analog sticks around for a second to make sure the final one on the range creep does. Good stuff. And there's that rotation that we're talking about. Fly has come through the twin gate. The question is, do they have the angle for the dive here? He's being pinged out. They know this is happening. They actually bring in Schofield immediately. Fly gets scouted here in the trees. Shards immediately on top of him. He gets eaten into by an LSA. And the right clicks of Yuma secure the first blood for Schofield. However, he may die for this underneath the tombstone. With the brambles out, the Shadow Realm does get dodged by the snowball hit, but he can do nothing about the blood grenade. He does end up dead. But in the meantime, Yuma found the tombstone. Got a 2-hero LSA. No follow-up. But she still got some bonus gold from the tombstone.
I mean, this is great for Heroic. You counter the play. Sure, you trade 1 for 1, but that was the first tombstone play. You get first blood. You get the tombstone bounty. Get some additional pressure out as well, forcing out the healing salve of Desire. It's a very nice sequence here from the side of Heroic. And yeah, we saw that exact rotation with all the conditions we were talking about. Warlock will go through the gate. They're trying for the kill win. Undying is level 3. And the Willow had the level 2 Brambles, but Heroic just saw it coming and countered it beautifully. Now, am I
a little
crazy for
skirmish
saying
over. Yeah,
can Whisper win bottom now? I actually think he can.
we'll see. The question is, can Analog escape? And he does get to the high ground. The Shadow Realm hit is gonna follow him. Nope, Desire couldn't find the range. Mobe just gonna try rush forward onto Schofield. Does have a snowball though, so kind of a fool's errand chasing him around. And in the meantime, down bottom, Whisper actually not just won the lane center, and he solo killed the Avulus carry.
I watched this kill happen for 20 seconds. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm like, are we living in a simulation? They were both standing in the Lotus pool together for 20 seconds fighting each other, and Whisper won against Bristle. Just shield crash for the mitigation. They kept hitting each other, swashbuckle, and he comes out ahead. And Smiling Knight never wavered. He just stood there and took it, and ended up dying. It was such a weird kill to watch. But that's huge. Like this is what I was saying. I'm like, can Whisper actually win this lane now? Because he was level 5 to Bristle's 4 when that fight began. And the answer is yes. The Pango is now even on net worth with Bristle, which to me is a clear win. I'll always consider wins in lanes relative to expected outcome, right? If you're expected to get crushed and you draw, then you're winning the lane, right? And this is a lane that I just think Bristle has to be ahead in. So now that it's a draw, in terms of net worth, Whisper is very, very happy.
Top lane, Mobe. He was trying to hunt somebody down here. KJ and Yuma will also be quite happy that they got the vision on top of him. Schofield making a TP. LSA connect onto Mobe. He cannot find Yuma just yet, but the Shadow Realm hit will still be there with the Corrosive Haze providing bonus damage. First Rolling Thunder of the game onto Mobe, and they kill the Slaughter. Can they get more? Whisper connects onto further targets while the rest of his team is trying to deal with the Tombstone, and as it goes down, perhaps they want to threaten onto Shibe. Shackles are out onto this Undying, but they need more damage. Whisper is not here. He's trying to deal with Fly right now. Fly is still alive, finally ticks over thanks to the ether shot from KJ. Whisper now in danger because Bristleback has decided to enter this fight as well, but he's losing more HP than he thought. There's going to be Shackles now out onto Shibe.
Nice
LSA connects because Yuma is respawned. Connect onto 2. They kill Shibe. Smiling Knight has no way out either, as he will end up dead. And also Desire too. Whisper eviscerates him with the swashbuckle. Crazy long fight, but in the end, Heroic actually achieve a team wipe.
Yeah, this is a really big win for them. Especially with the writing on the wall here of how the Radiant lineup works, right? If they lose the early game, I have very little faith in the side of Avulus recovering this game. This is the... I'm not going to say this is the point when their lineup is supposed to win, because it's so early. Like, maybe they shouldn't even have tried to do this just yet. But I was definitely, for Avulus' sake, hoping for a little bit of some shining moments in the first 15-20 minutes to keep them in a good position in the game. So far, not the case. This is going to be a very fast Vessel now, by the way, on Whisper. He has it.
Yeah.
9-minute Vessel offlane Pango. Holy shit. Oh, man.
Okay. All right, trivia question. Where do you think this ranks in item distribution for the vessels on Pango Dispatch?
I mean, distribution, like how fast it is?
How fast is it, yeah?
I think it's the
Top lane.
fastest.
Shibe dies on the top side of the map, unfortunately. As now we have the scenario where they need to try and rotate to salvage things. Mobe and the crew were coming in, but might arrive a little bit too late, and they still don't have a blink dagger, so getting to Yuma might not be the easiest. They finally see him, they drop the chaotic offering to close the space. Mobe on him with the corrosive haze, and they do get the kill, even cancel out the TP to save him. So he should be A-okay, and they might leverage this golem to be able to take down the tier 1 tower.
Whisper is soloing Smiling Knight.
Oh, he is indeed. So the vessel's on top of him. Rolling Thunder is coming through, and KJ is here to make sure that Smiling Knight goes nowhere. He drops the Mad Serpent Wards, helps the tier get kill, and now they want to put pressure onto the tier 1 tower. Heroic, man, and just putting the screws onto Avulus here in this early game.
Yeah, this tower is gone, probably. I mean, you're going to TP down... Well, maybe Desire from the tree line here with Willow can actually deal with a couple of these wards, but I think they're going to try to stop him from dealing with more than those few, and yep. Here comes Whisper. Is this just going to be another casualty?
Oh, God.
Another TP
might be.
forced?
He's at half HP for Desire, and
Yeah,
as the
tower's
TP comes in, the tower's pretty much dead already. Siege Wagon, Mass Serpent Wards, no way to save this one. They'll at least deny it with Mobe, but Analog is here with the Haste Rune, wanting to punish them. Looking for some target, an easy kill. He sees the 2 supports, might be able to get the Dream Coil onto one of them. Desire might be the primary target, silenced up for now. There's the Dream Coil through the Shadow Realm. He's still alive though. Analog is falling surprisingly low. This Corrosive Haze is proving to be problematic. He needs to get out of here. Shibe cannot close the gap, and Mobe doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so this puck should escape. Tombstone even committed by Shibe. Nobody really connected onto. And yeah, they'll be fine. Heroic just get themselves out.
Yeah, that's a 5-man rotation to the bottom lane from Avulus, and they don't even kill a hero. In the meantime, Yuma is free farming top, and they also lost their tower bottom, so not too inspiring. Did you have an answer for your trivia, by the way, or were you just asking a question and then never answering it? Because that's
Did
really,
you
really
remember the
uncalled
exact
for.
second you got it, like the time?
It's like 9 minutes, 5 seconds or something.
Okay. Then it would be the fastest. The second fastest actually was in a game I was in for the TI qualifiers. Shang-Chi got his at 9 minutes, 19 seconds. So this is either number 1 or number 2, because the second one is 9 minutes, 51.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy fast, isn't it? I knew I could count on you. You're not the kind of guy to ask a question and not know the answer, you know? You're not about that.
Must bring the receipts for the inquiries that we have. Oh. We're lamenting the lack of Blink Dagger for Mobe, and he's in the jungle right now trying to fix that problem. Pretty decent stack created by Desire. Slaughter, one of those heroes that you're always surprised how fast you farm once you have maxed out Slithering Crush. But these camps go down in a hurry. He's almost there for the blink now.
See what the next move here is gonna be. I have my eyes on the Avulus main. Oh, wait a second.
Top.
Zibe,
The next
big
move is onto
damage. Not
Shibe.
enough, though.
But KJ doesn't have the movement speed necessary. He came in a little bit too late. Almost caught him, but Shibe will be fine.
It feels like a game where we are watching Avulus to see when they make their next move rather than how Heroic are going to take initiative. Because I don't think there's much pressure on them necessarily to do it, and they have really good counterplay. So I keep
mid lane.
my eyes a lot on Desire right now.
Hold on, mid lane, they're going on to Mobe. He tried to solo kill Schofield, but he dove too far. Schofield just straight up outplayed him, blocked him with the shot so he couldn't escape quickly. And then immediately the rotations come in, they find the Slaughter, And to make matters worse, that will be the Blink Dagger reveal that he wasn't able to find a kill with. Mid lane, they're going maybe on to Whisper, Terrorize into Brambles, Chaotic offering drop down as well, but these heroes are just not dead yet. Whisper gets off the Rolling Thunder, turning things around, putting pressure onto Desire, but he's too low on HP to keep things going. But here comes Schofield. Blink Dagger already complete for the Tusk, able to kill off Desire. The question is, can he escape this himself though? He's in a very awkward place, as Fly also manages to kill off this Pangolier. Was that Fatal Bonds taking him through all that way? Yes, it was.
I think so, yeah. That ended up being quite decent for Avulus, to be honest. Okay.
Gets outplayed by Mobe. He thought he was going to solo kill the Slaughter. Meantime, goes the opposite direction. So Heroic, things were looking gravy for them, but in these last 30 seconds, it's turned to disaster. Oh my goodness, did he actually do that? Oh my goodness.
He got so much experience. He took the 14-minute wisdom, and then he was like, Slaughter's going to run here to try to get the wisdom after that Lina kill. So he's just camping the area and finds a nice pick with his wards. So he's now level 9.5 on the Shaman.
Damn.
Super, super high level.
Also managed to get the Shrine as well. So now they'll clean up the wards, but doesn't really matter. Got the big kill onto the Mobe, avenging your buddy. He'll also draw in a Tombstone too. Man, shout out my guy, King Jungles. So right now, things are still relatively even. You were mentioning that you expected this to go a little bit better for Avulus, and that if they're drawn for Heroic, it's pretty good for them. So what does Avulus do next? What's the big move that they need to try and open up the game for themselves?
Oh, whoa. Well, okay, still. I wasn't necessarily expecting this to go better for Avulus at this point. I feel like it needed to. But it's hard. It's one of those games where I'm looking at it strategically, and I just think their lineup, the way it's crafted, needs to be ahead at this point. But it's not like I can say with confidence they should be, right? That's when drafts are really tough, is when you need to make successful moves, and if they don't work out, you're in big trouble, but you're also not inherently favored. You know, if you think about old school lineups with Chen, you would be like, okay, the first 10 minutes, Chen is king, and you're expected to take towers and take control. This isn't that type of game where Avulus' heroes are just better in the first 15 minutes per se. So they needed to outplay, and it just hasn't happened. And now, economically, this doesn't look that bad, right? It's a 1k lead. You'd be like, whatever, but I feel like this is a big 1k lead. Just on from a macro standpoint. You're playing offlane Undying and parry Bristle, and both heroes are not really finding their stride. Whisper has found
And
his
again with the
stride.
Rolling Thunder. Looking
himself
towards getting the Dank Willow, and she's gone. Another Spirit Vessel charge for the Pangolier. Whisper has just been wreaking havoc on the map, bro. He's 16 minutes in with Spirit Vessel, Blink Dagger, level 11 on Pango. Off-lane Pango into a Bristleback lane.
I love watching this guy play Pango. I think he's one of the best in the world at it in the off-lane position.
Well, he needs to be played very well to get out of this predicament, because Mobe and the gang, they had some vision on the high ground. They're getting on top of them. Him and Schofield are trying to get out. He's gone, Schofield. Will he be so fortunate? Unfortunately, they have vision, but the eye shots. Look at Schofield go.
The great escape. And while all of this is happening, Analog takes the mid-tier 1, and Heroic are farming both side lanes. So, excellent space there from Schofield. And now this is something we haven't talked about. Avulus' lineup is obviously really good. You've got massive physical damage between the Slaughter and the Bristle, and you've got the Undying. So Roshan, an expected objective for Avulus this game, at the very least the first one of them. See if they can put it to good use. This is an Ags on Bristle, so in theory a very strong timing with the Corrosive Haze plus Bristleback ability. Can burst any hero in the game. Need to connect though.
That's going to be the primary challenge. They do have this Observer Ward in the top lane that they just planted down, so that signals the area they want to play around. And their ward mid did scout out both Puck as well as the Shadow Shaman, so they'll know that they have a little bit of freedom. But as I say, that Mobe just went forward into the mid lane. Eats a Dream Coil for his efforts as well, but fortunately for him, Schofield and KJ a bit too far away.
Yeah, that coil was just not it. Backup wasn't near, so Just a wasted cooldown. Not the biggest of deals though for Heroic, as long as they retain map control in the fashion that they are. They're pushing mid, they're pushing bottom. Smiling Knight will likely be given this top tier 2. I don't think Heroic needs to try to defend this against the Aegis. This is not a particularly important tower either in a macro sense for the flow of the game. So you can just play keep away and farm the other areas, but Avulus are anticipating that that's what Heroic are doing, so they will make their own move with smoke.
They wanted to get a better target. Schofield actually outplayed them a little bit. They saw him underneath the observer board, and he was heading towards the high ground, but then he turned back, hid in the trees for a second. That broke the smoke, forces a fight. I guess you're right that they were probably going to give up the tier 2, but they definitely didn't want to lose the Lina. So Schofield did his job, buys more time for the team so that she can finish her items.
And Smiling Knight became a part of that play as well, so he didn't even get the tower. So he ran over, connecting to that fight, and only found the support.
Dire's top tower is
Not the
under
best.
attack.
And Jungle's gonna cut this wave with certain wards. Well, he might kill the wave. He will. Okay, well,
Yes,
now
gonna
they're
kill
not
the whole
pushing the
wave.
tower. Honestly, I fuck with that play heavy, you know? It's funny. I don't know how good this is to delay this 30 seconds. Is it worth your life? Probably, actually. It's just more space on the map. You're trying to wear down the Aegis. Schofield gonna find Fly.
Even better if they get a support somewhere else as Fly gets himself caught out, commits the ultimate as well. Yuma just hits him with the Laguna Blade. Now they're going to take away this golem too, so additional free gold. In retrospect, now doubly worth it because that's additional time that you'll have to rally troops to the tier 2.
At the very least for Avulus, they do get the Tormentor, and then we'll go to Fly. Unfortunately, I think they would have rather had the Willow one and then skill Cursed Crown on level 9, but not the case. Desire trying to be cute here and set up to... Oh, man.
Look at this, Smiling Knight gets caught all by his lonesome. He doesn't have anybody nearby him. That's an Aegis lost. They only really have the slaughter even at the Twin Gate. He's gonna try, come through, see how long this Bristle can survive for. With the Spirit Vessel, all the damage from Yuma. Might not be too long, but he's putting out a lot of damage in the other direction. Here comes Mobe, corrosive haze out onto Yuma, but they've already killed the Bristle back. Now Yuma drops the LSA onto the slaughter. Mobe is still able to kill him. And Shibe provided assistance on the other side to ensure Schofield couldn't escape either. But Heroic, let's see if they can get more for themselves on Avulus. Avulus making the jump forward with Mobe, but immediately he gets Spirit Vesseled. Needs to go home for safety here. He's in danger, and he does barely manage to escape.
Yeah, Avulus are staying afloat, but not really gaining. Desire was trying to be cute on the right-hand side of the map. He walked over at 20-30 and warded for the Wisdom Shrine, and the moment he put down his Observer, King Jungles just waddled over and placed the sentry. He hadn't even seen him. That was really unfortunate timing. He just lost control of the area immediately. Now Fly gonna find trouble.
Yep, massive inwards trap coming in from KJ. Unfortunately, this time around, there's many more allies here. They should be able to keep Fly alive as the Bedlam going forward to bring down this Shadow Shaman. Yuma comes through into the fight. The LSA connects onto Slaughter. Mobe dies during the stun. The right clicks of Yuma starting to put the screws onto Avulus. So this game has just turned into a bloodbath. 21 kills, almost 21 kills for Heroic, almost a kill a minute. In total, we have 31 kills in 22 minutes. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, Yuma is starting to reach that point that Avulus cannot afford this Lina to get to, right? He's now got his Pike, Maelstrom travels, so he's super fast, very mobile, high attack speed. He can now opt for that BKB for the protection, and nobody's going to hold a candle to his single target DPS in this game. It's interesting to see how the gold hasn't really moved that much in the last 15 minutes. It's kind of been floating around that 1 to 2k lead for the most part for Heroic, but now finally crossing the 3k mark. And again, for my money's worth, every minute that this gold lead remains the same is going in Heroic's favor down the stretch. If this is a 2k gold lead in 10 minutes, I really like where they're at conceptually. So just got to keep this up for them. And for the side of Avulus, the question is, how do you force a favorable fight? That's really the challenge here. You had the Aegis, you didn't really put it to good use. That could have been something. You also got the Tormentor, and that's worth keeping in mind with that gold, right? You're still 2k down, but that was in spite of you getting the Tormentor and the Roche. So that just means in terms of raw map, Heroic have got more value. Now the creeps and the waves.
Looks like they might be prioritizing their triple BKB as the next timing. Bristleback just picked up his, Slaughter about to finish his own one, and then Shibe just needs the recipe at this point. So I imagine that's when Avulus is going to say, right guys, if we can't win fights with triple BKB, then we just can't do it.
It's very good timing to be sure. Like you look at Heroic's lineup, it's extremely stun heavy and magic damage based until Lina gets really strong. So this is definitely a timing, and then it's a matter of can you keep the enemy heroes in range for your heroes to kill them. The stuns that you have are Golem, Slargar, and you've got some Bramble Maze Terrorize stuff perhaps that you can pull off. But you're absolutely right. This is the time to strike for Avulus, and they will smoke up with their 2 BKBs here. Looks like Heroic are well aware of it, though, and not going to get caught off guard.
Even the scan, King Jake is literally right next to where the scan would have connected, but within the trees, he manages to hide, doesn't get connected onto. And this is something that we've been seeing as a somewhat consistent theme over the last couple of days. The team that's in a precarious position, they find the timing, but at that point in time, they don't have vision on the map to make the necessary plays. KJ cutting waves again? What a player.
He did it again. Is he going to finish the wave, though? Oh, Solo Crest?
They have to
Clutch
pop
from
shine
Fly.
on the damn thing. He's gonna die for this, but you know, did what he could. Free kill there
Some
onto
of that
KJ.
space, baby.
I mean, the way things are looking, right? They're probably still gonna get this tier 2 top, but Lina's been massaging the tier 2 bottom, so it's gonna end up being a tier 2 for tier 2
it's gonna be
trade.
a trade,
And
yeah.
given how quickly Avulus got to the tower in the first place earlier on when they had the Aegis, still counts as a win for Heroic.
Yeah, I would chalk it up to that as well. You should be able to get this now. Smiling Knight. The glyphs were exchanged. The end result will be just the same. So both teams got delayed the same amount, and that is kind of whatever. We haven't talked too much about Analog. We've been focusing a lot on Yuma, but of course Puck in late game situations is also an absolute monster. And Analog is going for the heavily offensive route here of Witchblade into Octarine Core and then Shard. Imagine you'll go Pharasma after that. This is a great Puck game. You don't necessarily have to buy a key defensive item like Linken's Yules or BKB. There's not that many problems, and especially with Octarine, you just have solo cooldown on Phase Shift and Blink that you just keep staying mobile. So this is another hero that's going to reach a dangerous state for the side of Avulus.
Just imagining being Warlock, Dark Willow. If he gets like Aghanim's Pharasma, yeah, good luck, guys.
Yep, the supports are going to have a tough time down the stretch here against Analog for sure. Neither hero is really good against it. The Willow can at least keep herself alive with the Yules. And Fly does have Ghost Scepter, so it's not like you're necessarily going to assassinate them on the spot, but you're just going to make their fights really, really awkward.
They're already building a
with those
nullifier to counter that
PPBs
Ghost Scepter on Whisper.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to get a nullifier very soon, too. I mean, he's just having such a good game on the Pango. Alright, Avulus trying again with their smoke. The triple BKBs, but they're not really finding anything. They don't see an angle. They don't have information to go off of. Heroic seem very comfortable just playing in strong, safe formation over here on the right. Avulus will have to settle for Roche, which is not a bad prize. But unfortunately for them, it's a prize that's not available yet, and, well, they might not even get it for free. Heroic looking for the 5-man move.
Yep. Roshan is sleeping in a little bit today. His alarm clock didn't go off, which is very bad news for Avulus. There was a slight moment where Heroic was spread across the map, but now, like you said, they've gathered together. And look what's happening. Yuma, he sees this little creep bottom. Ah, man. I was hoping maybe a little glyph for that range creep and then try to force the tier 3 tower, but not going to happen, unfortunately.
They will try to force them back with snakes, though.
Okay.
This is a really nice play. It's actually, Avulus have to be very careful how they spread their resources now. If you TP back too many heroes, Heroic can get a good position on Roche. Not necessarily start Roche themselves, but just take over the area. And this effectively, this aggressive move stops a Roche potential attempt from Avulus. And wow, Yuma's just going to get the tower?
What?
I mean, I don't think you can just let him do this. All right.
Whether or not you can let him do it, he's done it. Now they're looking for a backstab here, Avulus, to punish them for this move, but they just don't have the best vision. Smoke will break and they have an observer ward that sees everything. They break the Blink Dagger as well with Analog throwing in the Illusory Orb. Very nicely done by Heroic to retreat.
And now Heroic are going to make their move with their smoke. And at the same time, the bottom wave is starting to hit barracks now. So Avulus, once again, they're just going to say, screw it, we have to go for this. But they got the first Rosh, so they have to contend with the Roar. Roshan is pissed off and leaving his pit, so they can't hit him. This is super awkward for Avulus. Time's ticking bottom.
To make matters worse, they actually have the Nullifier now as well on the Pango. So this teamfight could end up being a chaotic one. Schofield drops in the shards just to get a little bit of vision here. And like you say, bottom lane is being heavily sieged into, and this Rosh is not dying nearly fast enough. Mobe does have the haze out. And when are they going to roll in? Whisper winding it up, thinking about it. Schofield finds additional vision. They see that the Rosh is extremely low. LSA is committed. It connects onto Smiling Knight. At the same time, though, here comes Shebe. BKB active. He's going to start things off in their accord. Whisper rolls in, but he's too late. Aegis taken now by Smiling Knight. And they pop BKBs from Heroic. They might need to get out of here. They do get Analog, 2-hero Dreamcoil. Not necessarily the best targets. They're all so healthy right now. Yes, they lost the Dark Willow, but she did the right thing. The Bramble Maze Bedlam, she created the chaos, and now Mobe jumped forward. Was a little bit too late to get the kill onto Mobe. He got sent up into the air by the Walrus Punch, and they drew a buyback out of Desire. He has to come back, defend bottom, because their racks are being taken. They are losing the melee barracks. He needs to commit the goal to save them.
When's the last time you've seen a support buyback to save a melee racks at 30 minutes? It's such a bizarre situation that comes about because this Rosh standoff lasted 2 minutes. And it begs the question, could Heroic actually just have got the full lane by just going down there instead of playing for the Rosh fight? I think, I can't say with confidence that that's better, because this Rosh fight, if they execute it slightly better, they just win the game, right? Imagine they get the Aegis themselves and win a team fight there, it's just over. Now, at the very least, for Avulus, you can hold on to this Aegis, and you have a little bit of hope that perhaps you can build a good fight around that and the man advantage. The problem is, Heroic can just kind of choose not to fight you. The puck is such a big problem to catch around the map. So is the Pango, the Tusk save. And of course, every 2 minutes, King Jungles is going to threaten the Serpent Wards, either on barracks or on some legendary creep wave up top that you have to worry about. So, tough times.
This goes back to what you were talking about earlier in terms of they have damage, but how do you keep these heroes in the fight so you can kill them? Heroic have 4 Blink Daggers. The only hero that doesn't have Blink is this Lina. And of course, there's still a Puck, there's still Pango. Extremely hard to lock down these heroes with the complement that you have. You don't blow them up immediately, they just find a way in and out of the fight and they can easily re-engage.
Honestly, I would like Avulus. I would like to just see them get these 2 bottom towers right now, at the bare minimum. Like, just ball down a lane, force something to happen. You must be feeling the pressure in this game that if you're not doing anything, you're not winning.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is under
the
attack.
one way you can ensure that you get some sort of structural damage is by having this Aegis and just saying, screw it, Bristle is just going to work. And that's exactly what's happening.
Mid lane River, they might try to kill Whisper here. He does manage to get away. Analog is there too. Drop the Dream Coil. Whisper's thinking about re-engaging, but once he sees Analog is out with the jaunts, even picks up no arcane rune for you. Terrorize, will it connect? No, it misses. Here comes Whisper rolling through, just trying to distract them away from the damage that could be dealt. They lose out on the life of the Dark Willow, and now Mobe trying his best to run away. He blinks forward actually onto KJ, but KJ is just holding the carry at bay, and Yuma throws in the right clicks to kill off Mobe. Gonna be able to maybe threaten Smiling Knight, who kills off the Shadow Shaman, gets away from the fight. Shebe is still next to these mass Serpent taking so much right click damage. They're holding him in place. He's trying to TP out right now, and with the BKB, he'll be allowed to do so. But that means he's left Smiling Knight all by his lonesome. He does have an Aegis, however, and is extremely speedy. He's trying to run. On the other side, look at Whisper chasing down Fly. This Warlock doing his best to get out of here. Looks like he'll be able to TP to safety. And yet again, Smiling Knight still going with these Warpath stacks, but he's being chased. The Puck will just not let him go. He doesn't want to break the leash, doesn't want to give up this Aegis, but he doesn't have a choice. Life number 1 has been taken. Where is the Lina? They need her right-click damage, but Smiling Knight, he pops a BKB. Doesn't TP out just yet, though, because Shebe is coming in, potentially able to throw out a Tombstone. Still on cooldown for 3 seconds, but Smiling Knight will rely on the BKB. It gets him back to safety. although at the cost of the Aegis of the Immortal.
That was meant to be a power play from Avulus, and again, they kind of just get thwarted and outplayed around the map. And it is a conceptually really difficult situation to find yourself in, because you can see Avulus are trying to piece together duos or trios of heroes to find ganks. It's just not good enough, right? Like Slardar plus Undying, trying to kill the Pango mid, trying to kill the Puck. They navigate their way out of troubled waters, and then heroes rotate over. Bristleback gets involved because he feels like he has to. He's not really able to stick on these elusive targets, and it all becomes a little bit of a mess in the end that Heroic just easily kite, essentially. And I was looking at Heroic's heroes to see, is there a Silver Edge on the way? There isn't, but if Lina were to buy that after this Daedalus, now that Satanic is on the way as well for Lina, I don't know. Who's going to stand in his way anymore?
Schofield will get hit by Curse Crown, but let's see if he dies here. Terrorize will connect. He's inside some brambles. And he does go Scepter, but it's not going to be enough. Bedlam will provide the necessary damage. At the same time, though, Mobe, this is the much bigger target. Will he get hit with the LSA? Laguna Blade is there. LSA comes out. The right clicks are flying through. Mobe knows even with the BKB, his life is forfeit. And they collect the Tombstone as well. And here comes Analog. Dreamcoil onto Shebe with the Spirit Vessel on top of him. Thankfully, he does have BKB. Unfortunately, it is now down to 6 seconds.
I actually think you can high ground here as Heroic if you know that Slardar doesn't have buyback. And they should know that. He just bought Sanyasha, which I don't know if I love this. I feel like Ags is probably just a better item on Slardar this game in general, but nitpicking at item builds isn't really my main concern with Avulus in this. It's mainly been their inability from a drafting perspective to really put the pressure on Heroic. That's been more of a problem. Alright, Heroic will not try to pursue any further. They will take their win back, which is also completely fine. Every passing minute, this game is more and more theirs. Not in the bag just yet.
No real pressure.
It's getting close.
By the way, our boy Whisper, who you fanboying over for most of this game, I just went to check, right? He has the fastest nullifier in this patch by quite some margin, but also this nullifier that he bought is the 6th fastest all time.
On the hero.
All time, bro. On the hero, yeah. Across all roles.
Yep. Having a good game.
Funny enough, the only offlaner in existence who has gotten a faster nullifier than him is Shibe on the enemy team. Shibe certainly not having one of those groundbreaking performances for him. Not his fault, really. It's the nature of the hero.
Exactly. He's an Undying in a lineup that isn't able to find fights. It's very frustrating. I'll tell you this. I have like a short list of supports when I play pub games, and it's obviously a different beast in these pro games, without a doubt. But there is a subset of heroes that I hate playing in games where my teammates have no stuns, which is not the case here, mind you. There is some catch, but they seem to struggle to find the enemy heroes. Undying, playing that when you can't fight is miserable. Warlock is another one. They have both of them. And then my third one is probably Bounty Hunter, right? If you have lineups where you just cannot be active, these heroes feel so bad because their sole purpose, Warlock's sole purpose is team fights, so is Undying's, and Bounty Hunter's sole purpose is skirmishes, right? If you can't find those moves, your heroes just lose so much potential in the game. That's why it's like, yeah, you're 10k down, how bad is it really? It's really bad, because these heroes missed their mark completely. Like, Warlock and Bristle and Undying wanted to have this, they wanted to have the Ancient by now, you know? In a game like this, when you draft those heroes together, you didn't want to get to this point, and now that you're there, you're like awkwardly walking around the Undying, farming creeps. The Warlock is following people around, casting some Shadow Words here and there, but not finding any good fights. It's not been the type of game you're hoping for when you group these heroes together in the same draft.
Now we also have a faster than average Daedalus emerging on this Lina right now, so she is crazy strong. Hurricane Pike, Daedalus, Satanic, BKB, Maelstrom with a magnifying monocle as well.
Yeah.
How do they, okay, let's say in a perfect scenario, right? You jump her first, she's a little bit far away from the team. Can you actually 100 to 0 her before she gets off BKB Satanic?
Yes. yes. If you get Blink, Crush into Bash, into Terrorize, you can absolutely kill her. Especially with a Bristleback nearby. You put Corrosive Haze and you use Bristleback, you can kill Yuma very fast, but again, it comes with the asterisk of all of those things need to happen in sequence and the enemy team doesn't exist. Yeah. Is that likely? I think Heroic can just stick in strong formation and play together, and they're coasting. I wouldn't mind just having Yuma hit high ground here with the backup behind. Put Solar Crest on him, keep Tusk in a good position to save.
That's exactly what he's doing, but they go on top of him. They're trying to bring him down, and they do almost get him. They got him. Chaotic Offering creates the space necessary. They came in on Schofield, but he arrived too late. And Whisper also realizes he needs to get out of this fight. He TPs away. Schofield will not be allowed to do the same. He uses just to buy time, but he ends up dead. And well, there's the exact sequence as you wanted it. It happened right before our eyes.
Yeah, don't you just love when you talk about something in theory that you think isn't going to happen and then it actually does? That's great. A couple of missteps there from Heroic, right? They didn't get the snowball save somehow. He blinked in on the Tusk, but didn't pick up the Lina and the snowball. They didn't use any defensives from the puck to try to cover their tracks there. And as a result, Avulus get themselves a little quick one there, which is honestly kind of big. Now they get the third Roshan too. I still heavily favor Heroic in this game, but that was definitely one of those situations where you need to be more clutch in these moments if you want to get a top 8 finish in this tournament. And I think situations like that showcase why perhaps you're in that 0-2 bracket right now. Because that, with the game state you're in and with the advantages you have, this just cannot happen, right? But credit to Avulus for immediately recognizing a moment of weakness and going for it. You gotta try it, right? Even if it's not likely, sometimes it's gonna work, and that was one of those times.
This might also be the first game of Dota I've ever seen where a team has attempted multiple high ground pushes without once getting the Aegis. He's just like, what?
Well, you could argue the main high ground push has actually been the creep wave, and that can't have Aegis. That was the one to get the barracks, was the wave. Not a single hero was involved in that building damage.
That would be interesting, right? If you could put like, you know these heroes that have summons? If you could give one of the summons the Aegis, like an immortal Warlock Golem just running around the fight.
That sounds awful. Why would you ever want that?
I want like a Aegis on a Giga Ward on the high ground. It just beat him on my
Aegis
buildings.
on the Giga Ward could actually be something, to be honest. That could be.
You know, you get to these ultra late games where you don't have any slots anymore and you're like, is the Aegis really gonna help me? Nah, bro, whatever. Give it to the summons.
Well, Heroic aren't going to be too phased by their mistakes. They are looking for the next fight immediately. But they're ready.
Oh, but Mobe interrupts it, but he gets LSA. Before he can do anything, bursted into oblivion. At the same time, KJ found the shackles on Sashebe. They also got the Rolling Thunder connection onto Smiling Knight. The Bristleback will not be allowed to leave this fight. Nullifier is there, right clicks out. And he knows there is no way out of this one. As soon as he comes back, he's going to respawn into an LSA. Well, Yuma actually messed up the connection, but still got off the BKB. Schofield there with the Walrus Punch, making sure Smiling Knight can go nowhere. As his BKBs expires, so does his life. And simultaneously, Analog assassinating Desire on the backlines. That came out of nowhere. Heroic, they smoke up. It looked like it might be bad for them, but it turned out to be even better than expected.
Yeah, they got the slaughter before he BKB'd. And that's just the dream, right? Yuma's gonna easily win any fight that Slaughter doesn't get to play his hero in. It's honestly, it's completely zero risk to play the fights with Slaughter is accounted for. And if I'm flying the base as well, this is bare minimum. This is actually megas if they don't buy back, I think. They can siege fast enough. There will be one glyph here. But yeah,
even if they do buy back,
thermal runway his way through this, Laguna blading the creep wave to keep that attack speed up. There's the glyph. Buyback does come out as necessary. No bristleback though. Are Heroic even gonna care?
Let's see. We've got in the mid lane right now. Whisper actually gonna go in with the Rolling Thunder. Gonna try to break some smokes, ideally find Mobe and zone backfly from approaching onto this Luna. Mobe slowly but surely trying to get there, but just can't find a clean angle. They do pop the glyph now, so this melee barracks does look like it will be salvaged. Heroic do not want to keep up with this push. They already got the mid lane of barracks. It's good enough.
They're showing some respect there. That was a 20-second on Bristleback. And they still were unwilling to finish that lane off. I don't think you're expecting Bristleback. When you're down to 20 seconds on the death timer, I think your conclusion there is he doesn't have buyback. Which means effectively Heroic chose not to take that 5v4. I suppose they had Rolling Thunder on cooldown and they're not in a hurry necessarily. Or well, not at all, as we have established.
Looking at that replay, Whisper with his Rolling Thunder, he's actually the one that broke it. He hit onto Mobe just as he blinked in. He also connected onto Shibe, giving him time to get shackled before he could get off his own BKB, and then hit Smiling Knight to cancel the TP out. So Whisper kind of hard carrying that fight on his Pangolier.
Are scanning.
Now back in the game, Whisper is going to come across Smiling Knight here in the mid as they both pop their smokes. Whisper goes in, Rolling Thunder, they want Smiling Knight. Yet again, the Pango sets things up amazingly for Heroic. Shibe now held in position so that Yuma can throw right clicks onto this Undying. 2 down, Fly drop the golem, but to what end? It will not help him. He doesn't have buyback, nor do the Bristle, nor do the Undying. This game is just over, Cinderin.
Game over, man. Hey, this took 44 minutes. I genuinely thought this was going to be over early, so props to Avulus on at least staying in here, and maybe a little bit of a misstep here and there from Heroic. But yeah, this game, man, it's such a tough battle for the Radiant lineup if these don't go well in the first 20 minutes. They had a couple of glimmers of showcasing what the lineup is, but now it's just a victory lap. Nice punt.
Aghanim's on Schofield. He kicks him back towards Yuma. Yuma at least gets the stun out, but Mobe just dies. BKB or not, he has no way to live here. GG is called. No options remaining. Schofield will celebrate within the fountain as he kicks out Desire. Game 1 going the way of Heroic. Avulus, especially if this game goes later.
I feel more comfortable and more confident in them than in game 1, but I still don't favor them. So, but the thing is, in game number 1, I was very much against their chances on the draft. And this, like, let's say the game 1 for us was a slam dunk win for Heroic. This one is like an advantage, which, you know, it wasn't like Heroic stomped game 1, even though we really liked their draft. So maybe if the drafts are even somewhat close, Avulus can grab a win off of that. We'll see as we get underway in this one. I loved your, you made me smile when you said artificial space. I like that term. It's like people already use space as an excuse for dying. So what's artificial space? It's like I am pretending to die for something. It's like the bottom of the barrel.
Well, so I'm surprised when you said it's a slam dunk that you didn't extend the analogy and say this game could just be an alley-oop. You've been casting with Suns fan for all these years and you still don't have these on lock. What's happening, gang?
That's because I don't care about his basketball.
That's because you never got to see Steve Nash, 2006, playing for the Phoenix Suns. Then you would understand.
Right. That's why. Nice little play here from Smiling Knight. He does eat a cog, but still gets the bounty run, so it will be a 2-for-2 exchange. Schofield tried to be cute, but didn't work.
Oh, Fly. Get some scouting off Schofield, all right.
Speaking of dunk, Oracle taunt. You've seen that.
It would be cool if it actually ended with like a proper dunk, like onto the ground. With the sound effect and everything.
He dunks his orb into a basket, right? I think that's good enough.
We'll see if he's going to be good enough to open up space here, as they are going to be dealing with a double melee lane with an Iron Shell from the Darks here. Annoying stuff to play into, but they should be able to get rid of it with Fly, like you mentioned. Lane counter against the DS.
And we are indeed seeing what I was imagining. Schofield will be trying to pull waves. Fly will do his best to counteract it, but unfortunately for Fly, he is Oracle, and therefore does not hit very hard. This will connect this pull now for Schofield. And in the meantime, since Whisper was not laning against the Oracle, he actually did get to get some value out of the Iron Shell here onto Smiling Knight.
All right.
We have a pause. Mobe is out.
All right.
So far, he's doing quite well in the mid lane against the Monkey King. We discussed this lane matchup yesterday, right? How Static Slide has just changed everything. That, I don't know, though. I feel like Static Slide has made Storm Spirit too easy for these mid players. I want to see the mid struggle again on Storm.
I'm with you. I actually don't like this facet conceptually because it removed a weakness the hero had that it had to play around. It's not the only hero that got a facet like this, but It's been one of my criticisms about Dota for the last couple of years is that heroes across the board lost weaknesses, right? I think that was what used to make drafting for me more interesting on average, was that heroes were more polarizing in what they were really good at and really weak at. And now a lot more heroes are kind of good-ish at a lot of things and have fewer weaknesses. And unfortunately, some heroes got lost in the sauce, right? Like, they just didn't get all those nice quality of life improvements, and therefore they, by comparison, just can't keep up with all the heroes that got their weaknesses covered.
To be
Storm is
fair,
a great
there's
example.
positive aspects of it, right? The drawback is the hero pool gets somewhat constrained. There's less diversity in Dota. But the bright side is we haven't had to deal with PL in many years. I'll take it.
That's the biggest upside, yes. Question is that worth the cost? On a bad day, it is. On a bad day, I hate PL enough that I will take every change in Dota to not have to play against PL, I think.
So how are things going here at bottom? Yuma and KJ just farming away on the CA. They're actually putting a lot of pressure onto Shibe. This Lycan has been struggling to get the CS here. But at the same time, they're not really going to be able to kill him. He's soon going to have that Helm of Iron Will. So everybody just going to focus on their own farm for a while.
Yeah, King Jungles went for the learning curve facet. This is the standard one to take on Ogre in pro play, but there are sometimes that I think Fat Chance can be an interesting alternative just because you get a lot more, you get to do something on level 1, right? But now that we hit level 2, King Jungles is going to get those 3 skill points. The problem is, as you said, Helm of Iron Will could have been there. Okay, he went Crown first, so maybe there's more opportunity. Oh,
Desire might actually be dead. He's been
he's
slowed
just
down
dead.
right now. The level 2 Ignite, Blood Grenade dropped in. That's a first blood. Yuma will gladly take the gold. First blood drawn by Heroic here in the bottom lane.
This is such a free lane for TA. Lycan cannot do anything to her with Ogre. You just go on the Shaman and he's defenseless, right? Like, what's he supposed to do? I think it's obviously a mistake from Desire to even try to get the Lotus Pool in the grand scheme of things here. You just have to accept that your hero can't play offensively. But it really doesn't feel nice playing Shaman like that, does it?
And unfortunately, it's not like you have Darkseer like Schofield just had now to bail you out with the Surge. You get gone on Lycan, just watches you and says, "Sauce, buddy. I don't know what you want me to do about this
Not
one."
really much to do.
So he's going to have to find creative ways to try and farm his way back. Also, with some of the pressure being applied on that lane, it feels like the Shadow Shaman... It's not like you can leave either, right? I don't think you want to leave that Lycan completely alone here.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough situation. You can't do what Schofield is doing now and just contest middle, knowing that the Darkseer should be fine for a little bit.
Mobe
They are gonna
gets
actually take a
forced back
twin
to
gate.
base from this rune steal. That's
Nice.
really high value out of Schofield. He takes the bounty as well. That's just free real estate here for Analog. He's going to win by a full wave mid now, denying to his heart's content.
Radiant are scanning.
They rotated this Shadow Shaman top. They really wanted to find a kill here, but he's gonna get scanned on the way out. So Darkseer knows that something is happening, something's awry. We haven't seen Mans in a while. So lots of time being wasted as well by Desire. No stacks being created. No wards being placed. Just chilling top for now. Can't really do anything to influence the map at the moment, especially with Darkseer happy to just hide in the jungle, farm with the Iron Shell. They're gonna try for him now though. They get the full Stormhammer, but unfortunately they still have overlaid the roots and the stun, so Whisper is completely fine.
Desire is sad, I think. He's gonna get a shackle, and they can't even tell if he gets the shackle. At the very least, Schofield got baited to cancel a TP. It's something, but not the best.
Mobe is finally starting to make his way back towards the mid lane. As Analog is finishing power trails right now. Is he gonna still go for the diffusal blade we saw from Stormstormer yesterday, or is there some other build that he might consider?
I think Diffusal is fine. I think it's really good against Sven for the Monkey King to have this in the mid portion of the game and just play aggressive. As we've talked about, you do have some natural steroids through...
Is Mobe dead?
Bloodlust as
He
well.
doesn't have level 6. I think he's gone. He's literally just shy of level 6. 7 experience away,
Desire,
but it's
hello?
too late. He ends up going down, and Desire walked into this Fracas will just be walking into his death, giving more gold towards Analog as he goes down as well.
Oh dear. This is
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This is looking like a team in shambles right now. Avulus just are not able to do anything on the map just yet, and they will have to lean heavily on Mobe, but unfortunately, like a game we cast yesterday with Nigma Galaxy, when you shut down the storm early, he ends up spending a lot of time in the jungle, and then he's no use for the rest of his team during that period. Desire level 2, minute 7 on Shadow Shaman is now angling a Wisdom. If they don't get this Wisdom rune, this game is just doomed. Here comes level 2
To be fair to him,
to try to
yeah,
contest,
Schofield is here, but he does have power cogs. He's gonna try and push them back. He traps them inside. Monkey is there with the Boundless Strike first. Wukong's commander of the game committed as well. Desire falling very, very low. He is almost certainly going to die. Shibe forced away from the area as well as they came in with Fly and Mobe, hoping to try and do something here. Mobe does have the level 6, going back onto KJ. Yuma falling very low. Purifying Flames almost killed him off. But he does stay living. Mobe jumping high ground, gets himself stunned for his effort. They do kill off King J, but Mobe will die for this as well. At the very least, Fly able to make it an equitable trade by taking out the Monkey King, but he dies too. Shibe has to watch his whole team collapse and can do nothing to stop it. Nor can Smiling Knight to Whisper right now. Big loss. More importantly, they took the Shrine of Wisdom. So Shibe just has to watch his support still stay at level 2.
This game for Desire. Honestly, this would be a masterclass if he finds impact in this game on Shaman. He's 0-3-0, 8 minutes in, has nobody to play with, and is level 3.
Bro. He's actually dead again. Look at this. He's doing it. Analog is doing the Stormstormer trick. He came in with the Chi, just diving behind. They find Shibe. Desire is far forward enough that they are able to at the very least kill off Schofield, but he will be giving up a double kill here for the Monkey King. These mischief rotations, man. I thought it was memes yesterday with Stormstormer, but looks like it's legit today.
I mean, the biggest part of mischief ganking is that you're not showing up on the minimap, right? So, whether you're a tree or a little potion on the ground or Roshan, looks the same on the map. Mobe gonna get in on Schofield. He TP'd mid. He might just die instantly here if there's no counterplay potential. Mobe will die for this. That's a nice pick for him.
Nice. Everybody else too concerned with the tier 1 tower, and now Whisper. The unfortunate thing about this is that it's a free kill on mid, but because Whisper is here, they can't really pressure the tower, and they are about to lose their own tower down bottom. Oh, you got the deny on the tower with the wolf. That's quite nice though. It's still a 1k net worth lead in favor of Heroic. They just got the first tower. Mid tier 1 is also at half HP. So if they feel more confident, they might try to get another kill mid, even if it's on a support, and then try force the tier 1 tower thereafter.
And in the midst of all this, Whisper is just getting enormous, right? The Darkseer gets to completely free farm. He is ahead by almost a full level against the enemy Sven. Actually a full level at this point. Now gonna crack level 9 here. Of course, he did get the wonderful bonus of the West Wisdom Shrine. As we talked about Heroic getting both of them, the Darkseer was just able to take the one on the left side. And that means that he now has Hum the Dominator and almost Arcane Boots 10 minutes in on the DS.
Mid lane, KJ gets saved by the Boundless Strike, but will eventually die. They get the disarm out onto Analog. Doesn't really feel like committing harder. It's like, whatever. Good kill. More experience for Desires. Finally level 4 on the Shadow Shaman.
Interesting skill build here from Whisper on the Darkseer. Speaking of going for the 1-4-4, no point in wall. This was the old way of building this hero when wall was bad, and then wall became good, and then people generally skill wall because wall is good. But Whisper, the full-on min-max farming build, the min-max escaping build, just doesn't feel like there's good wall targets, which is correct, and doesn't think about fighting all too much with that for the time being. So breaking in the dough here, and if it does come down to fight, it's obviously max level Surge can be very strong. With the 9-second cooldown, it's up way more frequently than Fortune's End, so even if it were to be dispelled one time, Oracle can't continuously dispel it during fights.
Oh, Shibe knows he's being danked. He shapeshifts. His wolf actually got the vision as Yuma disappeared into the smoke. That's the only reason why Shibe is still alive. If he didn't go shapeshift right then and there, he would have definitely died. but he will stay alive. And in turn, he's actually buying some time. Here comes Mobe and Fly rotating from the mid lane. They want to try and find somebody here. These Wolves getting the vision onto Yuma. They see that he's relatively far from the rest of his team. They will maybe jump him. Mobe, is he going to go for it right now? Doesn't seem like they have the guts. Yeah, not underneath the tier 1 tower.
And in the meantime, they lose a tower of their own top, so a very, have to say, just failed rotation here. At the very least, they get down some vision from Fly, but no kills, no progression on the map. It is Heroic that strike first on the side lane tier 1s. Oh, well, they strike second, I should say, because they already took the bottom one.
The scary part is all of their towers, except for the one up on top, relatively healthy. Gonna take a lot of effort, and we're very far away from Desire, having dropped down the Mass Serpent Ward. He's almost at level 6, but do you give up some farm for him middle so he gets the experience over and above Mobe? It's a cursed situation to be in right now.
I mean, he's very close. I think they can just split a little bit and get there. But then, like you said, you really want to see some impact out of these Serpent Wards, right? Especially, he went for the massive Serpent Ward, so he has the one singular big one, which I find a pretty interesting choice in this game for a couple of reasons. First of all, pro players tend to mainly prioritize the chicken fingers. And
all that thought, we'll talk about it in a second, because Shibe has been found out with the Diffusal Blade, with the Inhibit, and with the Wukong's command. Analog gets the kill. Gets tipped by the squad, and yeah, like you said, very, very easy. Required 0 assistance to make that happen.
I would really have thought that Desire would go chicken fingers, not specifically for the Hex, but to have more Serpent Wards. You're playing against TA. I think there's a lot of value in having the Mass Serpent Wards to break Refraction with for your Sven. Because as it stands now, when you're playing the big Serpent Ward, you get 1 attack instance every second and a half or whatever this Serpent Ward attacks, right? And you can't ward trap the TA either. She's a carry hero that does not buy phase boots. Well, almost no heroes do nowadays, to be fair. So yeah, I don't know. What's the benefit here of the big Serpent Ward? Is it just they really want to triple down on the pushing prospects of Lycan? Because I am a big fan of the Mass Serpent Ward facet in terms of like how strong it is. I don't know if design-wise I'm a fan, but it's good. This is not a game that I personally think it's the right choice.
I'm with you. I do kind of think that with TA especially, I think if it was another carry I could see it, but TA especially. Fly on the Oracle, he is about to lose his life. We'll buy some time here, but his time will come to an end eventually. Didn't want to have to commit the false promise on himself. The cooldown is quite long these days, so he dies and the tier 1 tower will follow him into the grave.
Mobe with the shield plus Invis rune. Pretty strong right now, but no targets to be found. Instead,
you will come across the Ogre in the game. Yeah. Look at the storm. Look how invisibility is invincibility, baby. He's gonna get caught inside some cogs right now, though, being pushed around. They couldn't close down KJ fast enough, but finally, as the Lycan and Shadow Shaman show up, they get him. Analog, though, he's here to help out. Drops the Wukong's command, but Mobe is able to get himself outside of it, and he realizes Analog that he doesn't have the tools all by his lonesome to kill them all. He does swap towards the Guardian nearby the Oracle, but still Fly is able to keep his distance and stay alive. But now Yuma and Whisper are showing up to the fray. They've already brought down the Desire Shadow Shaman. They're going for more. Silent Knight activates his ultimate, but he needs to get out of here. False Promise will bail him, but Shibe doesn't have it. So as he gets chased out, he will end up dead. Analog now on a wicked 6 streak. And they're chasing for more. Heroic feeling themselves at the moment. Trying to dive deeper into this. The Rocket Flare flies over, provides some additional vision. Analog is coming, has Primal Spring in 2 seconds. But he might give up the chase. If they knew there was still a shrine here, they might want to force it, but they do not, so they're going to let it go.
I think Heroic could have instantly Roshed here when he walked past them. Like, all these cooldowns on Avulus make them really unable to fight. No God Strength, no Shapeshift, and no False Promise means you can't contest Rosh. So I think Heroic, maybe with a little bit of a miss here, that would have been a totally free Aegis for themselves. TA, Monkey King with Bloodlust can do this very quickly. It's not the end of the world, of course, like to just play the map here. It's not likely that Avulus themselves will go for it, but it would be really nice to have it out of play. On mid lane, Mobe, 8 damage, he should live.
Should be fine.
It's his entire resource pool to go back to base and Desire. Oh,
Chase
well.
onto Desire. Inhibit is there onto the Shadow Shaman. My man is gone. Yuma will kill him off of the side blade splash on the TA side blades. Very nice. Wait, do you think it's fair that you should be able to get the crit or the side blade splash off the Psionic Trap? That feels unfair to me.
I don't know. I like that. It's like a nice flavor, little. As broken as TA has been for months, that's one of the things that bother me the least, because at least it's like skillful and cool. The thing that isn't cool is random Joe in lane presses refraction and is invincible. I don't think that's particularly interesting. But you know, someone at Valve just absolutely loves barrier as a concept, and therefore we have barriers.
Oh, yeah. Imagine trying to explain to people that there was an era of Dota where that didn't really exist. Where heroes were actually killable.
When you counter TA with very small instances of damage, and now those small instances of damage just slightly take away at one little stack of the barrier.
When you could pick Batrider into TA, smiling from ear to ear just by pressing Q, and now you're like, oh god, TA. Ah, what a hero.
Yeah. Times have changed. We're getting old, Snare. The kids love this shit, is what I'm told. We all know that this game is being patched for 15-year-old prospects.
The kids are not alright with all the changes that we've had recently. Avulus though, let's see if they're gonna be alright. If they want to smoke, but this little creep that's being thrown forward, the Black Dragon might create some problems, but Smiling Knight goes in onto Whisper. There's a hook shot forward by the Clockwork, but they still manage to burst through onto Whisper. Analog Hydra dropping the Wukong's command,
really
but they're
good
doing
Fortune's
so
End.
much damage on the back edge. Mobe finds a double kill on both supports. They're looking towards this Monkey King. He's trying to juke and jive within his Wukongs, but eventually they will find him. All of these swaps will not last forever. Desire ends up with the shackles. Fly gets the damage for the kill, and Avulus go 4 for nothing in that jump and engagement.
That came out of nowhere. That was a sick Fortune's End from Fly as well. I think he rooted 3 heroes for full duration there, which is 2.5 seconds, or 2.75, excuse me. So a fat root from him, they get a nice jump, and TA is not involved, so a 5v4 fight is what Avulus really needed. This game was already starting to look pretty grim, but getting that opening, massive for them.
You know, you were saying that it's going to be a master class coming out of Desire if he's still able to have impact. That Hex that he got onto Schofield just before he could throw out any other spells outside of the hookshot definitely made a difference there. If they have that Battery Assault to hold Mobe for like 1 extra second, maybe Whisper's actually able to surge. Maybe Mobe can't escape the Wukong's command. But Insta-Hex creates all the necessary conditions. Then afterwards, the fight honestly looked kind of easy for Avulus. They were bursting these heroes so quickly.
Yeah, somehow Desire has a dagger. I can't explain it. I don't know, man. I guess he's been farming enough during the downtime to get there. He has 42 CS, but that I was not expecting this hero to show up with a blink 17 minutes in. And probably neither were heroic. So, well done to the man. It's tough conditions. He's making it work.
Sen now, as he's farming away, we did see the Storm Spirit pick up the Kaya Sarge, so slowly but surely the earlier woes that Mobe was experiencing are starting to erode away. Unfortunately, more woes are approaching, as that earlier Roshan that you were mentioning is now being taken by Heroic. The first Aegis of the game will go towards them. Hopefully Avulus can get this tier 1 tower bottom in time. They might not. They actually cliffed the wave, so this tower might still be alive. They could still come back and defend it.
See if they fancy their chances for that. Storm is obviously showing here, and nah, Heroic are just assuming it's a full team move down their bottom that Mobe has backup, but it's actually smoking mirrors. He's alone. So that was defendable, but they obviously don't know that with Fog of War. Avulus are trying to subvert expectations here. With Storm showing bottom, they are going for a 4-man smoke. This is really high risk, high reward. If they find the right angle, it's great, but if this somehow backfires on them, all right, they want to get ready for the Tormentor. They're fighting into Aegis and TA traps. This is not easy. She has Shard already, mind you, on Yuma. Smiling Knight. Can he
Going
get
for
the
the
angle?
backstab here.
Oh,
He gets scouted. They see him.
Oh my
Clockwork
God,
sees him. He jumps now, but doesn't find the initial stun. He gets stunned himself first. Desire He does get the Hex out, and they burst through the Ogre Magi. Buys back instantly. Next up to fall is going to be Schofield. He doesn't have buyback himself. And Analog dropping down the Wukong's command with the help of Yuma. They are going to be able to kill off Desire. They force Smiling Knight outside of the Wukongs. He's trying to run away from this fight. The root will be there from Fly just to protect him, but Fly getting himself chased down and away from Smiling Knight. Now he's not close enough to throw more spells on the Sven. The Sven will go down. Shibe doing his best to try and TP out right now. Mobe going through the Twin Gate. Both of them will live, and Fly was able to TP out as well. But what a fight to take. Heroic were prepared for it, and they end up punishing Avulus heavily for that engagement.
It's extremely difficult to invade into that area against TA Traps and Aegis and Monkey King and Darkseer, right? Like, you have to find the dream initiation with Sven, but you don't have any vision. It's so hard. And honestly, that looked like it was going to be even worse for them when Sven, Clockwork was so close to clipping him on the initiation there with Ion Shell. If that would have clipped him, he couldn't even have got the blink in. I think Smiling Knight would have just been stuck in cogs and immediately forced to get ulted by Oracle, and they would have been run over. At the very least here, they trade somewhat okay by getting 2 support kills and 1 buyback, but the grand result is, of course, a major loss with the Tormentor going down, but that was going down anyway. To the side of the room.
You know, I was casting some games with Wingblade that night, and he brought my mind to a concept I haven't really thought of. He's like, what's the strongest item in the game, right, as a carry? Usually you'd be like, oh, well, late game it would be my big damage item, mid game my BKB. And then he's like, the weakest item in the game by far is the almost BKB. This period of time after you buy the Mithril Hammer to when you get BKB, God, you feel awful.
Yeah, that's right. Trap, silence, stun.
Mobe definitely gonna feel bad about this one.
Nice
Look at
execution.
it. Holy based. Fly couldn't
really
even
nice
get off the false
execution.
promise there. Now he's been silenced up by Yuma. They might chase him. No. Fly got the dispel. He's okay.
Just a very well performed kill. Silence into vacuum, into Monkey King stun, into hook shot. Beautiful. From Heroic. Great spell casting.
It's kind of crazy because that's one of the few occasions where Mobe can die 100-0 with no response. Oh no, Smiling Knight.
This is real.
He has almost BKB, but that BKB will be further delayed. Dominating streak for Yuma. And he was literally at the last tick of getting through that Twin Gate when they caught him.
That's really, really bad. Dying on Sven at this point in the game twice in a row like this is so costly. He was having a decent game. He was 2-0-4. Then he dies in that team fight, and now he dies at the gate. Zibe is also going to run here as the big bad wolf, trying to save his dragon. Kind of ironic that you can tame a dragon as a wolf. I don't think that's very lore accurate, but we'll let it slide. Oh, Desire.
Desire
Okay, this could be a
gets
big
the
opening
hex
on
out.
Yuma.
There's no refraction, so the Giga Ward is actually going to do a hefty amount of damage. Roots in place. Yuma will be there. Can they get the support from Heroic to save him? No. Life number 1 will be taken by Mobe. That's the Aegis. Whisper sent in his army. However, now that Whisper is here, I don't think they can actually take the rest of the fight. But Avulus will certainly be happy to claim the Aegis and get out scot-free.
It's not too bad. It costs some commitment, right? The Serpent Ward and a lot of heroes, but I think that's worth it. Getting rid of the Aegis is very important. Taking any sort of team fight if Yuma has 2 lives is so difficult. Now at least you have an angle in the future fights that if you do catch Yuma out of position, he's not really playing with the best saves for the TA. So if he does get caught, he is a possible kill.
And he is not going for the earlier Hurricane Pike either. If you can catch him like that, we'll be going BKB though, but only after finishing off the Daedalus. But on the bright side, Smiling Knight does now have a BKB for the Sven, so some of the shenanigans he's been caught in up until this stage will not be so easy to accomplish for Heroic. Top lane.
Analog is thinking
is
about it. He needs
waiting.
backup though. He needs Clockwork to connect for this. Almost got cut off the tree there actually. But not gonna find anything.
So for Heroic, do you think they should be trying to finish off this tier 2 tower top? I mean, it's 1 hit away from dying. Or is it so close to dying it's not worth the effort anymore?
It's gonna happen naturally. I don't think you should put too much focus on it. It doesn't change the game very much to get that tower. You'll get there when you get there after some other objective on the map that you're prioritizing. Although, if they went there now, it would be nice, but looks like Whisper's just going to take care of it with an Ancient Creep here. But if they were to gate now, that would keep them alive. This is a really good Wolf scouting them out, but Mobe's too far away to go for the zip. Maybe he can get Whisper!
Oh my god! That is so unfortunate for Mobe. Actually,
Bro,
to make matters worse,
literally
right?
frame perfect escape. I think the Stormhammer must have been less than 0.1 second from hitting him when he went through the gate there. That's unreal how close that was. What the hell?
You're
That's like a
Avulus, you're just
melee
cursing
Stormhammer
Gaimin.
that missed, right?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just mad if I'm them. Because like, okay, I couldn't get out from my twin gates. I dived while I'm gating. You just get out last second. And now I maybe die while the rest of my team gets out. Solo killed by Yuma? What is happening? Analog mid is fighting 1v1 against Mobe. Shebe will come and provide some assistance, but the chase is still on. At the same time, Fly being held back by Schofield. Yuma blinks towards and able to kill him off. Deeper into the fight, Analog and KJ are fighting into Shebe. Mobe was putting pressure onto the Ogre, but there will be a Ghost Scepter to protect them for now. Clockwork throwing in the vision. There will be a Bounder strike from Analog, but Mobe zipped away at the last minute. But there's the TA silence on the high ground. They found Mobe. Do they have the damage for him? Of course they do. Heroic will not be denied on the map. They just keep chasing from kill to kill to kill while losing nothing of value themselves.
Are fortified.
Yeah, this is starting to look... It's not an insurmountable lead, but Sven being 6k behind TA is very, very worrisome. It's already a bad hero-to-hero matchup, and you saw what Yuma can do to the Sven in that moments ago. Like 3 or 4 attacks. The Smiling Knight. Struggling. The Storm, of course, will now start working on a BKB. Has to against these multiple different stuns, and it does mean that the damage of the Dire lineup is maybe going to be a little bit lackluster until this BKB from Storm comes out. Lycan and Sven, I don't know if they can really get it done down the stretch here. TA is starting to get quite tanky with all her base armor. The Monkey King with the BKB is a tough target. The Ogre, of course, giving them the Fire Shield, which was pretty useful in that previous engagement as well.
They're scouting around the Roshan pit. Looks like they perceive this as their way back into the game. And honestly, I can't blame them.
Disagree. Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower.
Feels like this is where you have to strike either by getting the Rosh or by getting a good fight there while the enemy team is trying to go for it. Unfortunately, you're playing against TA. So the enemy team knows when Rosh is up and you don't, which is great and fun.
Nice and fair and balanced. The way
So
all
Heroic
things
don't
are with
waste any
Dota.
time here. They're like, okay, I mean, you guys want to check Rosh? Keep checking, boys. It's gonna be a while. We'll just farm, you know. This is no big deal. I really think. Okay, so opinion. Things that give you access to information that is otherwise impossible to get should not be in the game. So the TA seeing Rosh Timer and Oracle seeing min spawns, I think should just get axed completely. I think it's conceptually an interesting idea, but I think it's just fundamentally extremely broken at the pro level to have access to that kind of info. Just give them some other innates than that.
Yeah. I thought the exact same way when I saw those
I
changes.
think it will happen. I think these will be changed.
Do you think they should change the Dawnbreaker one as well?
Yeah, that one can fall under the same category.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind that either.
You see, Fire Blast onto Smiling Knight. Immediate just though, but he gets vacuumed back into a wall, into a couple of right clicks. He will get off the BKB with the false promise as well, hoping to go onto Ogre, but the Ogre immediately goes into the Ghost Scepter, so he's gonna be fine. Fly gets bursted into. Mobe going on the backline, hoping for KJ, but gets silenced as well by the trap. He needs to get out of here, but he cannot. Too much right click damage emerging from Heroic. It's a 2-2 exchange here, but they did get the Storm Spirit and almost killed the Sven. Giga Ward will go down as well, so that's even more bonus gold for Heroic.
And they only throw 2 supports away for this, right? It's a great trading end for Heroic. And get to see some mad value out of that Orchid from Whisper in that instance. Opting to go for that in the Darkseer. It's a very timing-based item to get on this hero. You know that the Storm will eventually get BKB, but if you can kill him once or twice because you bought Orchid, it's well worth it. And now it's one of those. Mobe, I think, just was not anticipating it. Didn't account for the fact that Darkseer has this item when he jumped in the second time around. and got caught by the Orchid plus the TA trap, as you mentioned. It's tough. It's really hard for Moby to play fights right now into these heroes.
It's not like he's necessarily close to the BKB. Still 1,000 gold out before having the item.
Even more, 1,500, right?
Oh yeah. What? Oh, he was dead. My bad.
He doesn't have a
Oh boy.
done. Guess what? Heroic knows that it's up.
Lycan Wolf just gonna be there for moral support. Dies immediately. And Avulus. They are watching another Aegis go away, and it's not simply an Aegis. It's not simply a Roshan's banner. It's their opportunity to stay within the tournament. If they lose this game, Sin, that's it. They gotta go home. Early airport ride for them. The first team eliminated from Wallachia.
Yeah, and they would be eliminated without winning a singular game, which is pretty demoralizing.
Oracle?
Okay,
Well,
they do
that's
get the torment. Oh my god, he almost died on
demoralizing.
Sven getting that for his Oracle. Or rather, for his Shaman. But at the very least, this does now not go to Heroic, so a decent steal here. I want to call it a steal, because I think Avulus are not in a position to really control key objectives on the map. So them getting the Tormentor there is quite good. And now Zibe with the Ags can turn Sven into a wolf. There is potential. I would be a lot more hopeful for them if they weren't against TA. Like, this hero is just so good against what they have. And TA is this type of hero in this game. You cannot pretend she doesn't exist. You can't kill her team and then kill her. She's going to body your whole team while you're going for other targets. So it feels like a damn it if you do, damn it if you don't situation. You go for the TA. She's really hard to kill. Her teammates are going to cover her nicely and build the fight. You go for them. She's going to kill. Your core is way too fast in the matchup, so they have to run away. It's tough out here.
And that's even before we factor in what happens when she gets to level 25. So,
oh yeah, it's gonna get even worse. And now she has a Daedalus too, and she's close to Butterfly.
yeah. Well, on the bright side, like you mentioned, Lycan does have this Eigen Scepter for the Wolf Bite, but Sven is about to get a Daedalus of his own as well. Not that far away from having it, so his ramp up in damage output will certainly be there. Yes, you probably don't kill the TA super fast, but there actually is a world where you can Stormbolt her and still be able to kill somebody else who's like Hex Shackled before she comes out of the stun, if you have that big damage output with the Wolf Bite.
I mean, everybody else in the Radiant lineup are extreme Sven, without a doubt. If you get the right angle and the lockdown, you can kill people extremely fast. So it's not out of the question. It's just the level of execution required right now from Avulus is very high. And unfortunately, in this tournament, they have not impressed. So it's hard to be very hopeful that they're just going to kill 2 team fights in a row in terms of clutchness, info, and getting the right fight selection, targeting the right heroes with their jumps. That equation changes drastically when Mobe gets BKB, which is only 500. If they can wait for that, find an opportunity, the game gets a lot easier when Storm has that item here. Because he can actually play his hero, right? Go in with some confidence. He knows he's not going to get immediately obliterated by chain stuns into silence. There's actually nothing killing him in BKB, right? There's no BKB piercing stun except hook shot. Yeah, probably not dying during that.
Well, they'll have some time to contemplate exactly what must come next, as we are still paused right now. Had a little bit of connection issues, but should be fine once anybody reconnects into the game. And it's a 9k gold lead. Is there any way for Heroic, what's their lose condition from this point? Like, what do they need to be wary of going into the next several minutes?
Mainly breaking formation. I think as long as you're bait and you're ready to help each other out on the map and you don't get caught off, I think that's the worst way for this game to spiral out of control for them, is to give Avulus just free jumps on cores that are out of position. As long as you're covering your bases quite well, you know, you can keep pushing out side lanes with rocket flares, with Darkseer, Helm of the Overlord, which means you can stick somewhat close together for the most part. You don't have to start sending actual heroes to deal with lanes pushing in, which is a very, very big benefit.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Looks like we still have some packet loss on the Darkseer for Whisper. But
yeah,
hopefully it gets resolved very quickly. Flight has come back. What's Flight building? He's going for... This kind of sucks. He wants Nullifier, or Ghost Scepter rather, but Monkey King pretty much just has Nullifier.
Take it.
Not that far away at all on the item. Oh, boy.
And there's nobody else he really needs to nullify, so he can just use it on him. I guess it's good against the Shaman. Wait, never mind. You need Break for that. Nullify doesn't do anything. So yeah, you're just going to nullify the Oracle and eat him, right?
Mm-hmm. So since we're paused right now, I know you can't read. Any cool movies you've seen recently?
Actually, I can't watch either. Which has made this whole Dota casting experience quite challenging for me, but I try my best going off of audio cues alone. Dota 2 has incredible sound design, so you can kind of visualize what's happening in the game just from the sound alone. Now, don't ask me if I've listened to good music recently, because I can't hear either.
You can only hear Dota. That's it.
Yes. And Dota does have a banging soundtrack, so if you want to talk about that, we can.
It does, but well, I must lament, because I think every single time when I install Dota, maybe the first thing I do is turn off the music, so I don't get to hear the music as much as I want to.
It is good though. I've talked about this before. I think for me, the sound effect design of this game is the best out of any multiplayer game in the world. The spell sounds in Dota are incredibly well done, because you can try this as an experiment for yourself at some point. I don't know if you've ever done it, but just boot up a replay, some like epic team fight, and just close your eyes and see how many spells you can count being cast, right? Yep. If you play that a couple of times, you can tell all the 10 heroes that are in the game just from spell sounds, and you can kind of imagine what type of fight is taking place. And then you add on top of that all of the cool voice lines, the iconic character design of a lot of the heroes. I think the voice acting in the game is stellar. They really nailed that in this game, which for me, honestly, adds quite a lot to like the flavor of the experience, and is really good in particular for casual players, because just, you know, it's a little extra. Just the sounds are just very, very good.
I think one of the things as well that's very impressive for me is that there's several abilities that have, you know, similar animations or do a similar thing, and yet are still incredibly distinctive from a sound design perspective. And across as many heroes and as many abilities as there are in this game, doing that consistently is kind of amazing. Go and ready. I think another thing that I really love about the sound design of Dota is it's mixed so well, so even some of the super loud sounds don't feel like they're dominating. Like if a Roshan roars, it's louder than everything else, but still doesn't overcome all the particularities of all the other abilities happening at the time. It's very good.
Yep. We're back.
We are back.
Let's see if the players remember what they were doing. When you have pauses, this is an actual problem sometimes in Pro Dota, is loss of focus. Lose track of where enemy heroes were on the map, you forget what you were going to do. But Heroic at the very least looked very determined with they were their smoke. This could bite Avulus a little bit if they're not very wary right now. Make no mistake, this tree running down the mid lane is actually smoked. You can't tell, but Desire? Invis rune? No detection?
No way, dude.
Oh?
No way. No actual way. What?
Oh, King Jungles does have a sentry. He's not placing it though. Oh, he got out. That's cool. Nice rune.
Desire. Yeah. Probably the only rune that could have saved his life in that instance.
Yeah. There's the Daedalus. Okay. This moment has to work out for Avulus this fight, but Duma is probably just going to get this tower for free. Are they planning it? They are.
They're thinking about it. Wolfbite is there. They're coming forward, but he's already gone, and they don't have any high ground vision here.
There are a lot of traps here too. Yuma has set up a nice little triangle for himself to feel very safe in. Swapping in the Dragon Lance over treads for the attack range. And there goes the tower, no contention from Avulus. And bottom tower will meet the same fate in about 10 seconds here. TA will be very quick to take care of business. And there's the butterfly.
Now that she has butterfly, do you even back from this push? You still have 2.5 minutes on Aegis. BKB backpack, I think you go.
Yeah, for sure. you have a great team fighting composition around the type of fight that's likely to break out with vacuum cogs. And you know that Yuma is a really different target for them, or difficult target for them to go on. Between Refraction and Fire Shield, there's a lot of damage instances you need to get through here. I actually don't know how these two interact. If you have Fire Shield and Refraction, if the Fire Shield
goes first?
If the Fire Shield goes first, you need to deal so much damage to take Refraction stacks off. Well, that's half a tower. He's gonna keep going. Avulus, you can't just give the whole thing up for free, can you? Oh, they have.
They will.
Dire's bottom
Well, to be fair to them as well, Shibe, remember before when they popped the wolf bite onto the Sven and they couldn't fight anything? So it only right now came back for cooldown. And I think, you know, going into a fight and having to leave 4,000 gold on the floor would suck, but now they jump forward and Smiling Knight, he didn't get off his BKB, didn't get off any of his items. Drag back in with the vacuum wall, Fly will save him. Unfortunately, the rest of the team not so lucky. Desire gonna be the first one to fall here. Sven eventually dies through the false promise. They just had too much damage sent to it. He does not have buyback. He didn't get the wolf bites, he didn't get off his BKB, and that will probably lead to the end of this game. How on earth can you defend 3 versus 5 for a full minute?
And for once, it makes sense to say game over, because this time he's actually in the game.
Shibe in trouble, eating some right clicks right now from Yuma. Should be able to finish him off. Lycan, Lycant, he's gone. 2 cores down, Mobe, lone one remaining. I mean, a wolf bite Storm Spirit is not what I'm trying to see in my game of Dota, but it's all they have on the side of Avulus, as Fly will also end up dying. Mobe will simply enjoy his last moments in a lobby here because he knows that his trip in Romania has come to an end. GG, well played is called. Heroic secure the game, and Avulus is the first team eliminated from PGL Wallachia Season 5.